Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to a special birthday episode of I Heart Geek. It's not the show's birthday, it's mine, so
Happy birthday! Yay!
Happy birthday to you.
And this is I thought this show is actually pretty apropos considering we're talking about gadgets and tech. So, and I like gadgets and tech, so buy me stuff. I'm kidding. All I want for my birthday is for people to subscribe and like our videos. That's all I want for my birthday. That's it.
He got me and Griffin here for his birthday
And that was
from
very nice.
his home.
Yes, we are actually three of us are in the same house today. It's really.
I think you should do the clip of when you answered the door because that was awesome.
That was cute. Yeah.
Maybe we'll put that up online later. So today's show is brought to you by Batman, who reminds you, as long as you have money for gadgets and tech, you too can be a superhero.
I'm Batman.
My power is I'm rich. Oh, okay, I'm down with that. Okay, so here's the panel today. I'm Dub. I'm here with Skeeter and Christina and Michelle and Griffin. And how y'all doing today? Hey, someone's got some shirts.
Apparently not as happy as Griffin is.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
So what we're talking about today is both the fictional and non-fictional side of tech and gadgets, and kind of, you know, sometimes where they meet between the real world and the not so real world, I guess you'd say. So let's start with kind of talking about when we say tech, what do you guys think? What comes to your mind? What is like the cool tech or gadgets that comes to your mind as soon as we say that? Let's start with you, Skeeter.
Oh my gosh. This thing that I'm talking to you guys on, my iPhone.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Right? Like we went from always having to carry change in our pockets to call somebody or a calling card or learning how to call collect and saying what you needed really fast to being able to watch I Heart Geek from our freaking phones and do podcasts and everything else, pay our mortgage. It's crazy tech. Awesome.
Well, I mean, this used to be a whole computer that we'd have. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And now we have these little tiny things. What about you, Christina?
So I was just reading this article and it shows them loading this huge, like 2-ton thing onto a plane, and it's like one of the first computers, and it says that like this computer held 5 megabytes. And I'm like, that's like less than one of my pictures I take with my iPhone. So yeah, like definitely what Skeeter was saying about the technology we have with phones in particular, it has really made a lot of songs obsolete. Like, here's a quarter, call someone who cares. You know, Griffin's generation is like, what?
You know what? Actually, I want to hit on that before we go to everybody else. Like with the MP3 revolution, as far as we can get all the music we want and all that, and I think that's tech. It makes it so it's not as fun. I miss having to go on the hunt to find a record or a CD. Yeah, exactly. You have vinyl there, but the MP3, you have everything, and it's nice, but it doesn't feel as rewarding. Does anybody else get that?
Yeah, I miss being able to open, like being the cool guy on the block that would open a CD, and instead of having to pull that stupid sticker thing off the front of it, I would just flip the back pieces and flip it open that way so you didn't have to do it. You're like, dude, that's cool. How'd you do that?
And then we had tape.
Seriously?
we'd steal our friends' music and put it on tape instead of Napster, you know?
Yeah. Griffin has a tape player. Walkman.
I got a Walkman. Yeah, the hours we spent waiting for that song to come on the radio and praying like crazy the DJ didn't talk.
Yeah. Get Rick D's halfway through.
I still have mixtapes from Sean, so.
But there is something but I mean, that was tech in its time for being able to record and being able to record tape to tape. But I feel like that's kind of where it stopped being fun. I mean, yes, Napster hit and all that, and we could watch you know, we could get whatever music we wanted, and we could get a Tornado import from Belgium, and it was cool. But then I don't know, it lost the specialness. without the hunt?
I did.
I mean,
Did.
I still had fun. I mean, there was something thrilling about, being on Pirate Bay and like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Heck yeah.
But,
Yeah, no, I
pirate.
mean, I agree with you. It was a blast at first, and then it just kind of, you don't have that hunt and that specialness. And your collection could be the exact same as anybody else's collection. Do you remember when, you'd have the coolest collection, and now it's like, well, can you send me your list?
Right.
Yeah, I remember in my car in high school, I had like the cool, rectangle cassette tape holder that like everybody wanted to go through,
Mhm.
So
Stop it.
I miss it. I do, but
And another, you felt like you knew people by looking through their collection. And I know we're way off topic right now, but that's how I felt like you knew people, is through their collection.
but
It's like,
see now
we're
with
friends
technology, you can like scroll through their phone or their Spotify lists, or people share their playlists, and it's so cool. To me, that is so cool that you can like create this playlist and then shoot it off to people, and here's me in a playlist. So I get it, the nostalgia factor and the fun and everything, and the hunt is great. And I think what's nice now is we can do that, but then we also have this technology that's allowing us to go further.
Yeah.
The thing that killed it though is like, you don't look as cool anymore pulling your entire stereo out of your dashboard and carrying it around with you.
I miss that so
Oh my
much.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, when people come to my house, the first thing they do is they're like, are those real record players? Because I have like one from my parents and I have one from high school. And the one from high school, because it was my mom, she gave it to me. So it actually has an 8-track. I don't have any 8-tracks. I do need to find some, a cassette player, a record player, and a radio. And that's what we use, like, because it's cool. And there's something so beautifully classic about putting a record on, and even though you hear that little tiny scratch from the needle, it just takes you back. And I have a pretty fantastic collection, and I'm always on the hunt for new ones.
Yeah.
So Griffin, as the young person here, I mean, what's your thoughts on, tech? I mean, are you a lot more accepting of it, or is it a little different for you? I mean, because I know you're an old soul, but you are a lot younger than us. So I'm kind of curious on what your thoughts are on that.
You know what's funny is it's great because I wanted to say this. You guys were talking about, Dad was saying how he had to pull his whole stereo out to go to school and stuff. I actually have similar stories with a modern twist with the technology of today.
Mm-hmm.
So when me and my dad got my first car, we put it was like a 2003 PT Cruiser, and we put our own stereo system in it, and there's a button on it that you can detach it, because people will go in and steal your stuff. So Dad bought me this bag, so every day at school I would take it off and then have to put it in the bag and then just carry it around school with me. So I have a similar story with that, so it's pretty funny that way. And then as far as you guys were waiting to hit like record a certain song on the radio and be like, oh God, I hope he doesn't talk. When I was a kid, when I was younger, it's so weird saying when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to take my phone and hit record with my phone and go on YouTube and look up all my favorite songs and just hit record and record. I had like 14 different songs on there, because that's how large of space my phone had on it at the time. I think I was like 9. And I would just record the songs and listen to them on the tape recordings in the phone.
Yeah.
So in a lot of similar ways, I did do a lot of things like that. So I could definitely agree. But I've started to warm up to, even though being an old soul, I've started to warm up to the technology of today, and it's really efficient. It's really nice and convenient. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I got a Walkman for when I turned 21, my last birthday. So, and I love it. So I have a bunch of cassettes and stuff I listen to. There's an art to it.
There is.
Yeah.
Well, there's I feel like there's a payoff with technology when we get this new stuff. And since we're on the music thing, let's stick there for a minute. Like there's nothing was as good as the sound of a CD, let's be honest. But there's something so warm about the sound of vinyl with the crackle. And I feel like, and now we have MP3s, which compress the crap out of the signal. It doesn't sound as good. And let's be honest, most of the next generation has no idea that it doesn't sound good. But, and that's not me being get off my lawn. That's, if you go back and listen, there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And there's something, I feel like as we let this technologies, kind of infiltrate our lives, there's a trade-off to it. And if we're willing to pay it, we're willing to pay it. It's all good.
Yeah, there's nothing like sitting with a nice adult beverage, chilling in the evening, listening to a old school James Taylor vinyl.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, something about it is just, it's amazing. My sister and her husband they have an old console record player from way back, and that's what we do. Like my brother-in-law will be like, Skeeter, what do you want to listen to? And I'll be like, dude, James Taylor, let's go.
Yeah. And here's one of those payoffs that we talked about, like the vinyl. Let's be honest, the vinyl came probably it was phasing itself out by the time that most of this panel was getting into music. It was starting to phase itself out, but there's nothing like, you had to sit there next to a record player. You had the big liner notes, and you got to learn all about the bands. And there's just something that, and that's a day that's gone by, but that's what you have to do with technology.
Funny story. I didn't know vinyl was making a comeback because I don't shop in big box stores. So it's not a place I hang out. So actually for Christmas this year, Gracie got me the Guardians of the Galaxy that I showed. And we had a friend over, and I was playing the record, and he was like, why does yours sound so much better than mine? And I was like, oh, because it's vinyl. It's not the MP3. And he was freaking out just because the difference in the sound quality.
Yeah. And that's with gadgets and tech, it gets rushed a lot of times. So and it never gets improved on because, everybody has this market now. Okay, now let's move on to kind of the geek world as far as tech goes. First movie or show that you can remember that you just like flipped out over the tech because you noticed the tech, it was its own character of the movie or show. What was the first one that you noticed? You're like, oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead, Christine. You're showing us tattoos.
Tron.
Yeah.
Absolutely Tron. I just loved it. Wow, Griffin. Ouch, that hurts.
No.
Oh,
I think that was good. I think that was a good reaction.
Like, no. Like, that was one of my favorite movies growing up. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but the tech in that was its own character. And what was cool about that, it was tech that was, it's completely impossible, but at the same time, it's so possible. And we were so close at that point to touching it. And I think that's what makes for a great bit of tech on fictional tech, because it's like, I can believe this. I can buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
What about you, Skeeter?
I don't know. I think Christina hit the nail right on the head. I mean, when we were kids, thinking about like the movies that came out, the stuff that came out, like The Last Starfighter, things that we were actually doing, like going, for those of us that lived in Reading, going to the gold mine in the mall, playing an arcade game, right? And that's what we had. We had a pocket full of quarters and a dream, and we walked into freaking.
That was so sad.
And we walked into the gold mine in the Mount Shasta Mall, and we played arcade games until we ran out of quarters, and then we stood there and watched other people play. Now, when we think about that, like, we wanted to be, the guy in The Last Starfighter. We wanted to be, Tron. We wanted to be taken into these different worlds. And then we go to now where, like at my house, I mean, in the family room, we have Wii, Nintendo Classic, NES Classic, PS4, Switch. In Griffin's room, he has Xbox, PS3, all these different things. We don't even have to go anymore. Like I'm trying to
like, do you
find
even-
old.
There aren't
stand-up
any anymore.
Do you
arcades.
even go outside?
No.
Like,
There's
Oh yeah.
yes, yeah.
Oh yeah.
See,
We barely play any of those things. That's what's
Really?
crazy. It's like
It's,
we look forward to like. I wish we could go to an arcade. I wish that thing was still here because the new tech has made it too easy.
Yeah.
Of.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. And not to be on a soapbox, but that is the sad part about tech is the more tech we have, the less socially interactive we are. We may be able to, talk on the internet, but it's not the same as sitting and talking with people in front of your face.
Right.
So here we actually have a lot of arcades still. And
That is cool.
some of them are 21 and up, and so you have drinks and you have games. So that's really big. Now, also for my birthday this year, Sean bought me a sit-down head-to-head. It's got Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Galaga, and we play that way more. And when people come over, they play that way more than they want to play our Xbox.
Well,
That is so
yeah.
cool.
Well, that's nostalgia too. Points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
huge
IHG,
points.
my house, I've got
Yeah.
video games.
What about you, Michelle? What was that first movie or TV show that like, wow, that?
well, first of all, growing up, my dad was into electronics. That's what he did for a living. So I was
Mhm.
constantly surrounded by all these gadgets and things, and he always had kind of the newest stuff. So honestly, that was kind of my introduction to all all those things, and watching him fix things and put things together.
Mhm.
So then when movies, when I was exposed to movies like E.T. and Star Wars, especially Star Wars, and then when I was younger, actually, and I'm probably going to mention this a couple times during the show, but 2001 Space Odyssey, um, yes, it traumatized me as a child, but I still love it. I watched it. So those movies just sort of like, and then watching my dad just made me believe like, wow, all this stuff is possible and it's so cool. And yeah, that was kind of my early introduction to it all.
Nice. Griffin, what about you?
I'll go ahead and say, Michelle said it, Star Wars. Star Wars was my thing back in the day. And it still is my thing. But as far as tech goes, I think, honestly, I know this is about tech, but that was the most that's the attention grabber. But for me, I've always been a sucker for stories. So I think the soap operas of the Star Wars got me more than the tech. But to go along, I don't think Dad has said it yet, and I hope I'm not taking anything from him. But I'm trying to remember a movie. I think it's called The Wizard. I can't remember.
Oh,
but
yes.
It's the glove. The glove.
The worst Nintendo invention ever.
The power glove.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know my stuff. You could
With
think
Fred
that man
Savage
over there. Yes. So that was a fun movie because growing up with I still grew up with like the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2, and like those were before like the internet was in them, and they were
we all grew
like
up with Atari
computers.
Commodore 64.
But I grew up with Sega Genesis too.
Yeah.
So it's like my dad like raised me, like we had the newer stuff and we like had that stuff, but it was always like, hey, check this out. This is what I did. So like when I was 10, I had a Super Nintendo that we were playing on all the time, like Mortal Kombat, rocking it, So, and that is true. I'm an old soul, so I fit into the show, but I'm trying to bring like a today's deal too. But like honestly, it's
that's the oldest thing that's ever been said on this show.
My dad's sitting there like, oh my god, my dad's more with it than me. But no, as far as tech goes, I would say Star Wars, but I think The Wizard. I think it's what it's called. The Wizard.
Yeah, it's The Wizard.
It's The Wizard.
Okay. Yeah. I would say that movie was probably was a huge impact, I guess.
And by the way, the introduction of Super Mario 3.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And I guess Nintendo actually paid a buttload in that movie so that they could introduce this tech of the Power Glove when they and then halfway through the film they realized this thing is a piece of crap, and we just put millions of dollars of advertising into it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't at all. It was supposed to be what the Wii does, but it didn't do it at all. And we all thought it would. And then we get it home and we spent like $114 and we were all very disappointed.
That's all that movie was an advertising.
Yes. Welcome to the 90s.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine is going to be, and mine's going to kind of segue into the next thing we're going to talk about, and that is, I've never been a Trekkie, but Star Trek is the most important movie to me as far as tech goes. For this reason, Star Trek is prophetic. Most of the gadgets are either being worked on as current tech, or it already exists. There's iPads in that. The inspiration for iPad was in Star Trek. The flip cell phone is in Star Trek. Stun guns is from Star Trek. Huh?
I'm not beaming anywhere.
No, I wouldn't either. No, I know how that technology works. Because it's not you when you come out. It's a new. No, that is a huge existential crisis for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Has anyone seen The Fly?
Exactly.
What is the Tim Allen
Yeah,
one?
okay.
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy
Quest. It's Inside Out.
Or it could be like the which one? The Spaceballs. You know, he got beamed backwards.
Yeah. All right.
How come no one told me my butt was so big?
Maybe I'll rethink that.
But with that being said, I think, you know, and I kind of want to talk about this, is kind of some of the tech that we saw as fictional tech that became real because of the inspiration of these brilliant writers. You know, we already mentioned the iPad. That was huge. Oh, MRI machines is from Star Trek.
Yeah, I was going to say medical, like the medical diagnosis and things like that. I can honestly say, and I'm really sorry to all of our listeners, but I really don't like Star Trek, but I can appreciate the tech. I mean, you're talking about what in the late 60s that all of this that Star Trek
none of this
started?
existed. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go back and you look at what they have and what they were doing, and now we're like sitting there doing the same stuff. Like, I totally get it. I just, I'm not a Star Trek fan.
Nobody in the world can be an everything geek. There's not enough time in the world, and don't ever feel guilty that you're not into a thing.
I don't feel guilty.
Oh, well, sorry. Wow,
moving on.
That just went differently. So let's talk about some of the other texts that from TV shows, from movies, from books that have been created because of these. And I got a great example. This one was taught to me in, I think, 5th grade. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, when he explained how the Nautilus works, it's exactly how a nuclear submarine works before there was nuclear submarines.
Yeah.
That's heavy right there. That was just someone's fictional mind that said, let's create a nuclear submarine. That's fascinating. Is there any other examples you guys can think of as far as fictional tech that became real?
I'm going to plug 2001 Space Odyssey again. So, I mean, the book and the movie. So you're talking, they had tablets. Tablets kind of is a main thing that showed up in that movie and in the book. And what's interesting is, because I do work in law, there's actually the lawsuit between Samsung and Apple about the iPad and everything. And Samsung actually referenced 2001 Space Odyssey about tablets appearing there.
Yeah.
For their argument. So it was actually kind of cool. I think what I miss too is that we're so focused on shows and movies that have all this tech. A lot of science fiction books had all kinds of tech mentioned in there. Like video calling, like bionic arms and things like that, satellites, space stations, things like
satellite
that
phones.
That weren't even thought of at the time. And then a main one for me too was Orwell's 1984. Technology.
So real.
It is technology used, for surveillance, that kind of thing. I mean, we're watched all the time. So when you think of all of that, those are kind of the main ones for me. So.
Yeah,
I'm going Brave New World, Clockwork Orange. I mean, all of these things that we're doing now.
Actually, can we stop for 1 second on Clockwork Orange? Because which is ironic that the story was about how mistreating prisoners can be horrible. And they use that same, I don't want to say technology, but the aversion therapy that they use for him with the violence. They use that today. That didn't exist before then. They didn't learn their lesson. Okay, I'm sorry, Skid. I didn't mean to break in, but that's real. That is here today.
And it's not just tech. I mean, the way we do, certain medical things, the way we do, different things that literally they talked about in movies. I mean, I don't know. I like one of my favorite things is, and could it be real? Could it really happen? I mean, 1.21 gigawatts DeLoreans turning into freaking time machines. I don't know, but like the tech nowadays is there to create some of these things. I mean, if we talk Star Trek, everything that came from that.
Yeah.
1984, everything that came from that. The surveillance, the satellites, all the stuff. I mean, we're literally seeing this stuff come to fruition. I mean, look at 2015, Back to the Future 2. What was going on?
Yeah,
the Cubs were actually in the World Series. Like, what the heck?
The Jaws 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got to say this. I think it's really kind of interesting with that. Now, string theory was kind of, they finished the research about 1976 until a certain TV show came out, Quantum Leap, which worked on string theory. And that was the first time they saw a jump in the research of string theory because of that TV show. That's huge. There is definite evidence that there is a multiverse because of string theory. So we've learned that. Kind of interesting, huh? And that's because you directly correlate that to Quantum Leap TV show. Go ahead, Christina. Okay, go ahead.
Also going back to the Star Trek, because I am a fan
the Star Trek. Okay.
The Star Trek.
Wow.
The Star Trek era.
That you no longer said the oldest thing ever there, Griffin.
Christina wins.
Back in
go
my
to the
day.
Walmart.
We just lost your volume there, Christina.
Got it?
Oh, yeah.
And hold on. 3, 2. Go ahead.
3D printers are from Star Trek. That's
really?
one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And then I'm going to take it a little to the animated, and that's the Jetsons and video calls.
Yes, that was another one I wanted to bring up. Yeah. Oh, actually, it's kind of a silly thing. I remember there's a particular episode when Jane didn't want to answer her video call. I haven't put on my face yet. So she puts on like a little face thing. It's like a holographic face thing. Now, what do we have with all our little toys on all our Zoom calls and all that, where you can change your face, change your eyes, change everything? It's kind of the same thing. Is there inspiration from that? Quite possibly.
Yeah, but I still want something that I can just go boop and all my makeup's on.
Well, they do tattooing now. I'm just saying.
I know that.
Yeah,
don't
on the eyeballs.
Don't
that just creeps me out. Yeah.
I'm not going to disclose who, but I know someone very close to me in my personal life.
Is
Dad knows who this is. No, Dad knows who's this is too. They got sick of doing their makeup, so they tattooed their
eyeliner.
No. So now they have it every single day, and they got it done a few years, like 10 years ago or something like that.
It does not wear well.
More
you think I wake up like this every day?
You know what though? That has come a long way. I have someone close to me who's done that, and it actually looks really good. So
it looks amazing.
Yeah, no, it
really depends on where you go. See
the
technology. Anyway,
I love technology. Okay, now let's move on to our listener feedback.
And now, let's see what all of our geek rock stars have to say.
Okay, so for our listener feedback, we asked what was your favorite fictional technology? And Michelle, would you like to do our listener feedback today?
I would love to, Dub.
I love that you made that sound like I just asked you right now and not before. Happy birthday, me.
Our first listener feedback is from our own Satomi Hoffman, who says it's got to be the TARDIS. Sentient, bespoke, whatever you need, creating transportation, plus, time and relative dimension in space. She even comes with a sonic screwdriver. Sign me up.
Yeah.
TC Harvey says Star Trek's transporter. To instantly move matter from one place to another is one hell of a trick.
Mhm.
Also, in Sting, Montgomery Scott actually put his pattern into a kind of stasis in a transporter's operating system and was brought back in the future. Uber hip. I like that
Uber.
word. Uber hip.
Oh, Todd, I love you. We're going to see him later on today.
Lee Monson says the Colt, not the cult, the Colt in Supernatural.
With an O.
It can kill anything in the universe until about season 10, they found something it couldn't. Dun, dun, dun. Still, was a pretty handy tech for quite a while. While, yeah, Satomi the TARDIS, but that Colt was the stuff, baby. The winch. Oh,
Did
baby.
you edit that?
Not
Yeah,
the
okay.
stuff, comma, baby. Period. Baby, the Winchester's car is a close second.
Yeah. Very good. We appreciate your listener feedback, guys. It does mean a lot. I know I put it out at a really weird time this time, so then it kind of got lost. But we really appreciate you guys answering, and keep it up because you guys make our show better, and we appreciate y'all for it. Now, while I'm at it, I did want to think we have a new Patreon subscriber. Just want to say thank you for joining us. I'm not going to say the name out loud, but thank you so much. And your name should be appearing probably right about now on top of the screen if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share. If you're listening to us on the audio podcast deal, which I do personally, definitely go to iTunes or wherever you get this and give us 5 stars and a good review, and it helps us out so much. And finally, go to our website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com we paid extra for it. I swear I try not to say that. Yeah, go to our Patreon. You get lots of cool stuff. You can get cool t-shirts. You can see Griffin's wearing a cool t-shirt. Dub's wearing a t-shirt. We got all sorts of t-shirts because the t-shirts, yeah. So check us out. We appreciate it. So now I asked you guys a question for before our main event, and I hope you guys put a little thought into it. So I asked this question: what are some of your fantasy technological breakthroughs that come from your brain that you would like to see in a fictional universe? I will go first on this one. And I would like to see, to work in a fictional universe, I would like to see and it's kind of been done, but I'm looking at a different way, kind of a levitation. I don't want to say a pill, but something along those lines, that it's not like a rocket, but something that you can levitate up or down, and only up or down, because I think that would make for an interesting storytelling device.
Is he lifting drinks?
Yeah.
Is he lifting drinks?
Oh, well, I just lost. Dang it.
Sorry.
But you can't really now the problem with the lifting drinks, unless you burp, you can't go down. So you got to be able to figure out how to control it.
That's true.
And you can go forward and backwards, and you could swim in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you can't do that with that. You can only go up or down, because I think that'd make for an interesting. It'd make for an interesting plot device, and I would like to read a story with that. So, does anybody else have any really good ideas or not so good ideas that you're going to share with the class anyway?
My ideas, I would just like them in my universe. So I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think any kind of healing technology. So, to seek out and totally vaporize like cancer without even having it non-invasive, just it's gone. Mm-hmm. Limb regeneration, curing diseases, things like that. One of my other ideas too is that, so I've been in a couple car accidents, well, a lot of car accidents that weren't my fault.
Learn to drive. Sorry, I'm
like PTSD from that. So I want like a standard feature where it's either automatic or you push your button and your little force field bubble goes over your car
Oh,
and you go.
Actually,
Nothing.
I got to say this, in Japan, because they were having a lot of earthquakes, there's a bed that does that. It literally, within 1 second, as soon as it catches a certain measure on the Richter scale, it literally, within 1 second, it drops you down, covers you up, and you're in case you have water, you have air, you have food, and it
But
can hold you there.
I have airbags, and that still didn't help me. So,
I'm just
to me,
trying
that's
to
just like a big
help.
airbag. No, I want like a force field.
Fair enough. Now, I got another one that I want to do because I just thought about it. A pill that you can take every day at work that you don't know that you're at work. You do your job and you're just in a nice, happy vacation spot.
I take that already. It's called Xanax. Couple it with Lexapro, and you're at Disneyland every day.
Every day.
That's
I love
horrible.
What about? So kind of the same thing. Not time travel because we all know time travel messes with my brain. What about the ability?
What, have you been watching Loki? Is that your problem? Sorry.
Jumper.
The ability to
Ooh.
basically like recreate a moment in history or in time or like an entire, but you're not interacting, you have no ability to change anything, you are just totally an observer and you get to just,
So a VR world.
So like
Yep.
the barf technology from
but it's like
Civil
real,
War.
like all of a sudden you're like there.
Yep, the barf
I don't want to
technology
go to
from
the
Civil War.
What did you just say?
Tony Stark's technology from Civil War. Where he
Mysterio
was watching.
Okay.
from Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yes. I want that.
Nerds. What about you, Christina? You got one?
Mine's actually pretty simple. I hate exercise. I hate it. I get up and I walk every morning because I have to, and I have a beautiful property, beautiful walk. I hate it. I think they should create a machine that you like strap in. It does all the work for you. Take a couple of Xanax. You don't care. But in a movie like that goes horribly wrong, and I think it would be a hilarious comedy.
Yeah, it's called Spider-Man 2 with the Doc Ock. That went horribly wrong.
Nerd.
Yeah, I know. We're on a geek show. It's called I Heart Geek. What do you want from me, Michelle?
That's
Didn't
hilarious.
they have those machines like in the 50s or something where it like
Oh yeah, the belt. The belt.
and then on the legs it just,
that would just make my blubber fly, and that'd be embarrassing. I don't think I can handle that at all. Did you have another one, Christina?
I do not.
Okay. And so finally, Griffin, you, and then we'll go on to our main event.
I do. Mine's different. So I was thinking about this on the way here, on our way here to headquarters, and I was telling Dad because I can plug in my phone to my car, and then it just automatically has Apple CarPlay, and so I was like, that's really cool, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to, like we control the music because I'm driving. So I was like, Dad, plug your phone in and control the music. So he plugs his phone in, and his phone is automatically like my car. So his system, it goes through. And so what I was thinking about was if you had a deck of cards per se, right? Like just these cards that look like cassettes or whatever, or just normal like cards, electronic cards that you get into it looks like a Tesla base like car, right?
Yeah.
And you put it in like a cassette, but you put it in and it like does the whole transforms into whatever car is on the card.
It's your desktop, basically. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I dig
basically,
That's
yeah.
very cool.
So
I love my
that's-
Apple
that's the
CarPlay.
type of-
We could write a story
That
about
would be cool.
right?
Yeah, I like it.
Patent it.
And Skeeter, sorry, I missed you, so I was wrong. You're the last one.
Okay, so this is something that I've had in my brain since I was an ejection seat mechanic when I was in the Navy. I worked on F-18s and ejection seats and all that stuff.
Let him go, sir. Sorry.
This is one of those things that like it wasn't a movie. I won't say which one it is, and you'll know. But I think about all these plane crashes and all these things that have happened, and we've lost hundreds of thousands of people. Plane crashes into water, does whatever. Unless a plane completely explodes in the sky. If there's an impact or an explosion, if this can be just like the bed thing, right? We encase, like as soon as there's an impact or an explosion or something like that, the entire, well, one was pod ejection from an entire airplane. So each section ejects and parachutes to the earth, or impact created foam that is like impact resistant. So as soon as it impacts, a foam encases the entire compartment where people are.
Nice.
So they can't, so it's kind of almost airbag-ish, but it's like a breathable foam to where when you hit, it encapsulates everyone so they don't jerk around, they don't break bones, they don't die. They actually survive. Like I've been thinking about this for years and years and years. Like go back to Challenger when the shuttle exploded. Like if something would have been encapsulated around them when that happened, as soon as the explosion happened, we wouldn't be, looking at whatever. But like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't think about it back then, but like, okay. And the movie was Demolition Man when the car crashed and that. So,
yeah.
But like, I've always had that tech in my brain. Like I've wanted to do that.
Well, that's basically what we've been doing. Every seventh grader's done since the beginning of the last 100 years. When you have to build
drop the egg,
the cage around the egg. If a seventh grader can do it, why can't our finest minds do it? That's what I want to know.
And if I can think about it, then
on Xanax, I mean, hey,
should be super simple.
And with
maybe that's the key.
Let's jump on to our main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
For this version of the main event, I asked everybody, what are your top 5 favorite pieces of tech or gadgets? Now we went fictional, we went real, we went all over the board. So mine, just FYI, mine is all fictional. Hopefully real someday. But I know everybody went all over the board on this one. This is going to be a fun one. So my number 5 is going to be the Doctor Who TARDIS and the sonic screwdriver. The sonic screwdriver is completely worthless, and it doesn't. The parameters of it honestly don't make any sense. But I want one because it does. Because you can press buttons on it, it goes beep beep beep, and it does things. But I want the TARDIS because to be able to go through time and space within seconds, and the bigger inside than out is just really a really fun, impossible technology that I love. Griffin, what is your number 5, sir?
Number 5, I would have to say probably.
You're thinking hard. It's like you didn't write this out beforehand or something.
I did write this out.
I'm pretty sure looking for it right now.
I'm pretty sure it's on your phone.
It is. I put a pager, but I wanted to be true to the show when it said fictional. All the rest of them are fictional though.
Okay.
But I said a pager because I like talking to people. I don't like texting people. So like if I could get a beep and know when someone's calling me, then that way I could.
You would have loved being in high school in our era. I'm just saying.
I was just gonna say, welcome to high school in the early
911. It's an emergency. They gotta call that. Are you a drug dealer? Or are you just cool? Get in there.
I probably look like one.
in Reading, it could have gone either way.
Well, it's probably one way or the other. Skeeter, what is your number 5, sir?
So my number 5, I pretty much went all fictional except for my 2 and 1. So food rehydrator, Back to the Future 2.
The pills,
just awesome. Like you put the little thing. She put the Pizza Hut pizza in the food rehydrator. Hit the button, bam. Oh dang! You sure can rehydrate a pizza. Like to me, that would be awesome.
The meaning,
no right? Fully.
No, that's actually that's a great technology because you have less less. What am I thinking of? Less raw materials that you're using, and you're still feeding more.
Yeah.
I think that the world's probably going to need that soon, until we turn into Mad Max and we need water. Michelle, what is your number 5?
I went completely just normal nonfiction for my number 5 because
Boring. I'm just kidding. I'm just
hey,
joking.
because I love my smart home devices. So, I can control my security cameras, my lights, my TV. I can watch my TV and then ask it to show me the security in my front and backyard. Uh, Music, basically if I've got it set up to where I can control just all kinds of stuff, and
Yeah.
I love it. Um, and I treat my Echo like a queen because when they rise up, they're not going to get me.
No, it's great technology, but that's the technology that scares me, honestly, because it's always listening to you, and that creeps me out. And
You
maybe
know
I'm
what? Yeah,
paranoid,
and
but I don't.
I've got friends in IT who are like, I'd never have that in my house. But then I've got other friends who, it's not a big deal. I'm fine with it. Everything's pretty secure. I'm not doing anything crazy normally. So it's
There's
the
stories here,
convenience.
I'm sure, but we'll leave it. Yeah.
And move on.
Okay, and Christina, what is your number 5?
My iPhone. I absolutely love my iPhone. I had Android. I switched over, and I'm having a small love affair with it. Everything that it does. My biggest thing with iPhones is AirDrop. I freaking
Yeah.
love that feature. So yeah, I've been using an iPhone for just over a year, and you can't have it. I'm not giving it up. So
Very good. Okay, so my number 4 is, remember the intro to the Jetsons when at the very end when George gets out of his car, presses a button, and it turns into a briefcase and he just carries it in. I want the folding car technology more than anything. How convenient would that be? Parking sucks, right? Hey, I got my briefcase of my car with me, so we're all good. Never have to
So,
worry about
like-
parking. Never have to worry about your car getting jacked.
that
So,
scares
like, Iron
me
Man
more
suit?
than home technology, because how stable can that be if it can collapse down into a briefcase?
Don't-
It seems like they're self-driving, so
Or you're driving and you hit the button and it's like, where's Wendell? Oh, he's in the briefcase.
it's called
Don't
an
they
instant
have-
weight loss. Go ahead, Michelle. I'm
Don't they have
sorry.
don't they have like little scooters or something that are kind of like that now? Like
Yeah.
that just
Sorta,
compact,
yeah,
fold up? Yeah.
kinda. Okay, Griffin, what is your number 4?
Okay, so I had a different one for number 4. I'm not changing all of them. The top 3 are like true, but the number 4 is, and they're all from the same place. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the first Spider-Man Homecoming,
Mm-hmm.
so for the MCU, when they were building all the tech and using the Tatari tech and doing all that, the Tinkerer throws these beads on the wall and it creates like a window, like a force field, and it breaks like the matter, and he could reach through the fridge and get a drink, and then they fall. And I think they use the same technology the Vulture does to get into the plane at the end, but it basically just like breaks the matter between
Yeah.
surfaces so you could walk through it. So that's the tech that I
That's
love.
very cool tech.
That's my number 4.
Skeeter, what is your number 4?
Number 4, I just went straight Jarvis.
Yeah, we have that. It's called Siri or Alexa, or
It's
It
not
is,
as good.
but
No, it's
totally
not.
not as good. Like I just
but it's
think,
the start.
having that full on. I mean, it's almost like having Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder, like your full conscience.
Oh, that's
You
good.
know.
Let's give them our conscience. Oh wow.
Like, I mean, if you think about it, like Jarvis was like, "Hey, dude, you're flying too high," or "Hey, dude, you're doing this," or "I think there's a problem," or whatever. Like, that would be great to have, because you have to call out to. I'm not going to say her name because she activates on my Apple Watch or my iPhone.
Siri, is that which one?
Yeah. So, like, it's just, or even like we have Google Home, I mean, we have all these home devices. I could tell my Google Home to turn on my light show on my TV and, or play music or do whatever. But I think having that Jarvis piece was like almost having like a good buddy with you.
Yeah, that's interesting take. Michelle?
Number 4 would be I'm gonna take this from The Sims because I love The Sims. That's my guilty pleasure, or used to be. Like the ability to just have instant switch out purchases of like furniture and things, or I want to expand my bathroom, then it's like done. Like I just want to do it. Like I want that ability to just like plan it all out. Boom, it's done.
Would it unpack for me? I need that.
Hey,
That's good.
Or like
You know
a
what,
lock,
though?
or like a lock and key.
yeah, you wouldn't even
No.
need you wouldn't even need the boxes because you just everything just goes where you want it.
Nice. Christina, what's your number 4?
So mine is fictional tech made real, and we already talked about it, but 3D printers. I think they're freaking genius. And
Yes.
I desperately want one. Sean has not been convinced yet that this is something that we need in our home.
Well, have him talk to Blythe, and he'll sell it. No, he won't sell his,
But he'll
he'll have to sell you
yes.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, number 3, and mine is straight out of the MCU, and that is the Falcon's wings. Yes, please. Yes. Yeah. If anybody says they don't want them, they're liars. Okay, Griffin, what is your number 3?
Doc Ock's tentacles.
But hopefully the chip doesn't malfunction with you.
Yeah.
I'm picturing Griffin like
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Skeeter.
Back to the Future 2 time machine, because I don't have access to
Gigawatts.
radioactive material.
But we have
so
garbage.
We do have garbage. So Back to the
Yes.
Future 2 time machine with the sports almanac would be great.
Nice.
with the sports almanac.
Michelle?
Teleportation.
You haven't changed your mind since the
Just
beginning
saying,
of this?
The Fly. Have you seen The Fly?
I have seen The Fly.
The original one's
I
better.
will-
Help me.
I will scan for invading insects and things before.
Because we're so careful with our technology.
Just let me live in my perfect fantasy world where I can just teleport.
It's allowed.
Gosh.
Christina, what is your
Instant subliminal learning, which is what?
hypnosis?
The Matrix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think that is freaking amazing, freaking genius. And even now, I know they're looking at how they can implement that even more, because they're showing that people that learn with tech learn faster. So people that have that supportive tech, and I am just enthralled by it. The fact that I could be like, oh, sure, I'm Cindy Crawford. I know, that's
I'm
what
a
I would
little
use it
creeped out
for.
by that for some reason.
I,
You know?
I really don't want the little portal in my neck.
Right.
Well, at least you have hair, you can cover it.
Right, I would never
Look at
cut
me,
my
I'm
hair.
screwed. Okay, so we are on what, number 2? And I'm gonna switch my number 1 and number 2 around. So my number 2 is now gonna be the bat belt. I want the belt literally that no matter what kind of situation I get myself into, it's got a compartment for that. That was just something when I was growing up, the bat belt just spoke to my imagination, because like no matter what, you got it right there. And I
We found
never
out that
what's that?
we found out that Batman was a god when he pulled out the shark repellent.
Shark
You
repellent.
got shark repellent?
There's shark
there?
repellent, and there's stingray repellent and barracuda repellent. That was all in that helicopter.
Like at all times.
Just why would you have that there? Don't know, but I got a bat belt. It's a TARDIS all by itself.
Yeah.
Griffin, what is your number 2?
My number Spider-Man's web shooters.
Ooh, yes, not the Tobey Maguire ones, of course.
No, not the organic. As much as I love Tobey's Spider-Man, he's my favorite, but the web shooters. Yes.
Yeah, with the little clickers on it. Yeah, those are
mhm.
really cool. Skeeter, what is your number 2?
My number 2 was the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Just
That
great.
ate our childhood.
It did. It brought us together differently. We could have full-on sleepovers and freaking rock NES for hours and hours. have
TNC
fun.
Wind Water Rage. Yes.
Right.
Love that game.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's it.
Michelle?
From Predator, the camouflage technology, invisibility, be able to.
You terrify me.
I get that a lot.
Takes a
Actually,
picture. It takes a picture of what's behind you and puts it in front of you.
you're just like, and you just meld into whatever.
You
But
just feel a breath behind your ear. Oh, that's just Michelle.
Ew. Christina, go ahead.
what do you mean? Ew.
Just the feeling of somebody is there,
Being
but
there,
they're
but not there, right? No.
Ew.
So
Not
Some
you
mine,
of
in
us like
particular.
that.
Where do I sign
I've
up
had a
for
lot of
this one?
coffee. Let's go.
I guess.
so
Christina.
mine is new to me. We just moved into this house and we have almost all LVT hardwood type flooring, and it's called an IVAC, and it looks like a little robot and it sits in the corner. And when you sweep your floors, because I have huskies, as soon as it senses that there's something there, it starts sucking all the dirt and sweeping stuff in.
Well, it
I'm
does suck.
It does suck. I am obsessed with it. It's like it's pretty, it's rose gold, and it sits in the corner and it makes my life easier. Because I was going to get a Roomba, but I talked to some people and I watched some videos of like a dog mess going through your whole house.
Yes, we've
That
seen
terrified
that one.
me. No.
Icky. Okay, on to our number one. Okay, now, if you guys know me at all, this one should not come as a surprise, but the Green Lantern ring. Yes, I want the power of the universe on my freaking finger. That's duh.
I mean, does that terrify anybody else that knows him?
I'm a good person now. Give me a break.
Now?
Now,
No,
it wasn't yesterday.
I've always been a pretty good person most of the time.
What was that quote from Loki about not all good people are or not all good people are all good? And
but I'm in the 95%, so we're good. You can trust me.
His heart is as pure as spring water. Come on.
yeah, from what
Do
spring?
you see what
Exactly.
animals do in the spring water?
Wow. Okay. Griffin, save me. What is your number one, sir?
My number one of all technology of all time is, you could take whatever mythos or comic book or whatever, is Mysterio's fishbowl helmet.
Nice.
Nice.
The power to create illusion, that would be amazing. And plus, just to look stylish and retro as hell, that'd be cool.
So you just want to be Penn and Teller for that's your superpower, huh?
Yes. Magic.
Skeeter, what is your number one, bud?
Number one. AEIOU. The speak and spell.
Sometimes why?
Speak and sound like the devil. As our good friend Dane Cook says.
It's a sheep. No.
Yes. I loved the speak and spell. That was like the OG.
The speak and seance.
It was so much fun.
You could play it backwards and the gates of hell open. It's freaky.
Yes.
That should have been on an episode of Supernatural.
But they came out with the speak and math and the blue one. Like, that was just dumb. Like, why?
Well, because it's math.
That's where we draw the line.
Math. Like, stop with your math.
Stop the math.
I just want to spell. I don't need your
Stop
math.
the mathness.
Is this a Xanax side effect here, there, Skeeter?
It is. Stop it.
No math. Math bad.
It is. Math is bad.
Michelle, what's your number one? Oh,
Why is it always when
Dub
it's
snap.
my turn? I have to follow that. Everything in Shuri's lab in Wakanda. I want the whole lab.
Dang.
I want the
that's
medical.
kind of cheating, but okay.
It's not cheating, and I do what I want. It's I want her whole lab. I want all the medical center. I want it all. That's
Cool.
what I want. Like when I first saw that, yeah, I was just because science and all the things they can do. Because science is rad. That's my number one. Going to Wakanda.
Outstanding. Christina, what is your number one? And then we'll close
Mine is Doctor Who's psychic paper. Because I could convince you to give me the ring, you to give me the helmet, you to give me the lab, and you can keep the speak and spell.
You know, just as long as you're only using it for evil, that's fine, I guess. You literally said you wanted to do evil to steal from people. This is why you're not allowed to have psychic paper.
This is why I'm not allowed to have nice things.
This is why technology is a bad thing. No, I'm just kidding. Well, that was a show. Thank you all for joining us. Again, go to do the likes, do the subscribes, do all that fun stuff. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Griffin and Christina and Skeeter and Michelle. Keep on geeking on, kids.
And be sure to sneak over and wish Dub happy birthday.
Or don't.
Happy birthday, Dub.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.